fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
We got lots of updates on AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, the Eagles offseason, and so much more. So, guys, let's get started. Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is. Cover news, notes, and opinions on your favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jointly produced by the Eagles Pinpull Podcast Network and the STT Sports Network on YouTube, guys. Make sure, as I say every day, you're following, liking, sharing, subscribing. Both these two great channels. It's free to support your local content creators. It does not cost you a thing to like, to share it out, to tell a friend. It's free to do. We'd greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and we've got lots to cover, lots to get into today on this quick episode, but let's get started. Let's start with Dallas Goedert, Matthew Berry. We all know Matthew Berry. Obviously, he's one of the biggest in fantasy football, but also with NBC Sports, does the Sunday night pregame show. And he put out an interesting offseason article, and there were two Philadelphia Eagles, linked in the article, one being Dallas Goedert. And he put in his article that Dallas Goedert is as good as gone from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I personally have said that it would be smart of the Eagles to at least consider finding a way to bring Dallas Goedert back. Obviously, we know we have no tight ends on this roster right now, right? We know the $20 million+ dead cap hit to let him go away and renegotiate a deal lowers that. But what happens if Dallas Goedert goes? We know the Eagles are going to draft a tight end, maybe two, right? Outside of offensive line, during the combine, they have met with more tight ends than any other position, except for the top guy, Sadiq, who's going to go probably before pick 23 in the Eagles. So what do? And I know everybody's going to want a big free agent signing or whatnot. I know Eagles fans are going to mention Zach Ertz's name because we've all seen the videos of him working out. But I'm going to throw two names that haven't even been released yet, but have been linked to both their teams of being cap casualties. And that's one of Minnesota Vikings, TJ Hawkinson, and the Buffalo Bills tight end, Dawson Knox. Both, I think, would be very excellent options for the Eagles if they lose Dallas Goedert. And here's what you do. You sign a TJ Hawkinson or a Dawson Knox to a 1-year, maybe a 2-year deal pretty cheaply. You draft one of the tight ends in the 2nd or 3rd round. And if you want to bring in Zach Ertz on a cheap vet minimum 1-year deal so he can close out his career in Philly, sure, I'm fine with it. But I think that would be a really great – if you go get me Dawson Knox or Hawkinson and a top-tier tight end this draft, now we're starting to cook. Now we're starting to talk. Now we're looking at a pretty solid tight end room. It's just going to suck to lose Dallas Goedert with that $20 million dead cap hit. The other name mentioned linked to the Eagles was wide receiver Mike Evans, obviously been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a very long time. In my opinion, the most underrated wide receiver in football. Before the injury this year, I think it was like 10 or 12 straight years of 1,000 yards receiving. He is linked to the Eagles if they move on from AJ Brown in a trade this offseason, that Mike Evans could fill that role. And I'm okay with that. If he's healthy, you make Devontae Smith your 1, you make, Mike Evans your taller, bigger body number 2, and you go from there. Now, on the AJ Brown front, a lot of reports are coming out that Howie Roseman's being unreasonable in his trade demands of the elite wide receiver, the star guy, that teams that are checking in to see if he is available say Howie Roseman wants a number 1 first-round pick and then also another top 100 pick on top of it. And if you're a GM and you think that's too much, first off, you can just hang up, right? You say deuces, whatever. But you got to understand, not only are we trading away a top 10 wide receiver in football, we'd be taking on 40, $100+ million in dead cap space. So you got to understand why the value is so high, why they want so much for AJ Brown. He's an elite player. Our offense would suffer without him, and the financials involved in it. It's going to take a monster deal to get AJ Brown. Will it get done? I don't know. I'm still teetering on the fence. I'm leaning that he doesn't get traded, but it could happen. Max Crosby is still on the market, and the Raiders are in the same boat with Max Crosby as the Eagles are with AJ Brown, and the Eagles are linked to Max Crosby. Do I think the Eagles pull off a monster trade for Max Crosby? Probably not. Where I'm 60-40 that AJ stays, I'm 60-40 that Max Crosby stays with the Raiders. But could it happen? It absolutely can. Howie has proven to not be afraid of the big, bold deal, especially for certain positions, edge being one of them. So the rumors that Max Crosby is linked to the Eagles in a trade, they're not just rumors. They are. Howie is checking in. How they get it done, I don't know. How it would cost, I don't know. But we'll keep digging into that as this offseason progresses. We're now under a week away from free agency beginning. Moro Ojomo, little nugget, did sign with a new agent, Athletes First Agency, same agency that Reed Blankenship recently signed with, the current Eagles safety free agent. Moro Ojomo is going to get paid and get a new agency. Whether that helps or hurts the Eagles' chances of retaining them, I don't know. Whether he gets paid this offseason by the Eagles or next offseason in free agency by somebody else, Moro Ojomo's got a new agent. The Eagles also announced the other day another new coaching hire to their coaching ranks. Actually, two. The second one's not as big of a deal. Army defensive line coach Alan Smith has been signed to be the assistant outside linebackers coach for the Eagles. Last time he was in the NFL was with the Houston Texans in 2021. Depth on in the defensive coaching ranks, because we lost a bunch of guys. But we signed Jarrett Johnson to be an offensive coach on this team. We do not have his role. We don't know what his job will be. But Jarrett Johnson was one of 7 coaches interviewed twice for the offensive coordinator job this offseason. Jarrett Johnson also interviewed for the job in 23 and in 24. But this is the third year that he's interviewed with the Eagles for an offensive coordinator position. Now, out of the 7 coaches we interviewed 2 times this cycle, 3 of them are now with the Eagles. Sean Mannion, obviously our new offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, and now Jarrett Johnson. And I think it's a fantastic thing. And I think it's a fantastic move. And I know Eagles fans are worried about too many, cooks in the kitchen, too many egos there, all guys that want to be head coaches, offensive coordinators, whatever, in their career. But Nick Sirianni just saw one of the most talented offenses in the NFL, one of the most talented offenses in Eagles history, struggle all year long because Kevin Petullo didn't have any help. Kevin Petullo didn't have voices he could trust. Now, Sean Mannion is in a similar boat to Kevin Petullo. He's a young coach with not a lot of experience, and we are just flooding him with as many ideas and opportunities and options and voices. And I love it. I think it's great. All these guys, by accepting these assistant roles under Sean Mannion, tell me that these guys are checking their ego at the door, and they want to be OCs. They want to be head coaches. So they're going to do whatever it takes to help get this Eagles offense right on the right path moving forward. And I love it. Love it, love it. Also, on a side note, all 3 of these coaches have spent time with, the coaching trees that is like the new path in the NFL, the Mike Shanahan's, the Sean McVays. All 3 of those names have worked under one or the other at some point in their career. So that is fantastic news there. Love the Jarrett Johnson. He was on my short list for OC this year. He was my short list for OC before Kellen Moore as well. So I'm very high on Jarrett Johnson. Don't want to hear the C.J. Stroud regress. There was a lot that went into that. But anyway, that's what I got. Thanks for your time. Everybody have a great day. Tune into Trending in the AM live at 8 a.m. I've got it linked below. Go Birds, and bubbles up.